Welcome back. So today marks day 2 of the strike by workers at the South African Bureau of Standards, who've downed tools and are demonstrating outside the company's headquarters in Pretoria. They accuse SABS of, among other things, unilaterally changing the current payment system without consultation. They say this will have an impact on workers' salaries, housing allowances, medical aid, and their 13th cheque. Watching developments is SABC News economics reporter Katlego Legodi, who joins us now live from just outside the company in Pretoria. And I wonder what the game plan is here, Katlego, in a context where we know these strikes could drag on.
A very good morning to you, Ayanda, and to our viewers at home. Today, of course, you're right, marking day 2 of this strike action in Pretoria, where we see members and workers belonging to the SABS just downing tools. They are just basically at the crux of what they're demonstrating about here is the undermining of collective bargaining. Ayanda, what they're saying is they're accusing the employer here, being the management of the entity, of just unilaterally implementing the changes to the payment structure of the company. They're saying this will have material impact on the day-to-day living of the workers, the issues of job security, but also saying that the management here has been negotiating with them in bad faith to a point whereby we saw them approaching the CCMA, and even there they did not get joy because they find themselves here in terms of the employer that is not coming to the party to try by all means to meet them halfway. So we are told that there are issues and impact in terms of what has been happening. The impact is being felt nationally, looking at the work that members of the SABS do. But I'm going to bring Zolani from Nihau into the conversation now, who'll just give us a sense of why we find ourselves here. We hear that you've been trying by all means to engage with management. You were here before even last month, but not getting any joy. Hence, you decided to down tools. So welcome to the SABC. Why do we find ourselves here?
Thank you very much, Katlego, and thank you and good morning to your viewers at home. We are here because we are dealing with a very intransigent employer and the executives of this employer. We have been engaged in a long and protracted attempt to get them to reverse some of the things that they are doing. And we have had many meetings in the bargaining forums that have failed. We have been to CCMA. We were here on the 14th of May to hand over a memorandum where we were saying you need to address ABC on D, and all of those things have failed. We then yesterday began this indefinite strike, and at the heart of this indefinite strike is the unilateral implementation of the restructuring process. They embarked in 2020, 2021 on retrenchments, which they said were going to be a solution of the business. And we said to them then that will not be a solution, and they still not a solution now. So they did this organizational redesign, and they engineered an outcome where all executives who were on contracts, they became permanent, and essentially making sure that their performance is not assessed like all other executives in other entities. We are saying they need to reverse that. Secondly, they placed workers on a structure that was not fully consulted. Over 200 of these workers who were placed in positions, there was no consultation at all. And if anything, many of them are placed in positions, when you look at it, they have been demoted. So we are saying all of those must also be reversed. To try and reverse our gains, they are moving unilaterally so away from the basic salary structure, introducing a cost to company. And this cost to company means, therefore, that they claim that we will no longer be getting 13th cheque, housing allowance, and medical aid subsidies, and so on and so forth. We say they must keep the current structure as it is, so that we can keep our benefits. And when we keep our benefits, we can be able to demand proper increases that are in line with inflation, as opposed to what they want to do. So we do not accept the migration from basic salary to cost of living. They are also paying many of our workers as minimum, many permanent workers who have been in their position for more than 10 years. Very few of them are in the midpoint of the scale. It's even worse for new workers who are on contracts of 12 months and 24 months. They are paying them, appointing them below the scale, robbing them of what is due to them. So we cannot accept a two-tie remunerating structure where there are people who are paid inside the scale and others they are outside the scale, and the reversal of all of those gains. And therefore, this strike has been so meaningful, such that their actions are so reckless, such they are threatening the safety of the public. This institution is doing testing and auditing various key industries that are very important to the public service upkeep, like the testing of food and water. The people who must test food and water are here. So now you will find a situation where the food that must be tested is piling. So we do not know what will be in the industry, whether it will comply with certification. They must also maintain the standards which are not being maintained. And many of those standards are around the trade, such as weighing and measure and making sure that trade takes place within a standardized measurement system. So their failure to come to the table has literally put the public in a disadvantage, such that key things that should be happening is not happening. IT services have ground to a halt. The facilities themselves, even if we must go back to work, have been compromised, and that will result in a negative impact to the public.
And Zolani, have there been an indication from the management that they are willing to come through and talk to you guys and engage, even go back maybe to that conciliation process by the CCMA? Today marks day 2. So what have they been saying to you?
Today, it's only today where they contacted us to say, can we talk? And we said we have always wanted to talk. It's you who has refused to talk and even accept our memorandum. But they want to talk with us through behind their computer screen. So we said to the CEO, it cannot be that your house is burning. You do not see the urgency of the situation. So if you really want to talk to us and talk in a manner that will end the strike, you need to come here. Let's meet and sit down and try to see if we cannot resolve. And by resolving, we mean that they must reverse. So that meeting is scheduled to take place tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll be meeting him, the CEO, and his executive physically, so that we can be able to make sure that we sit down and stop this nonsense they are doing once and for all.
Zolani, thank you very much, sir, for your time. Zolani Masolen coming through there from Nehau as the Deputy Regional Chairperson or the Regional Chairperson of the entity or the union. But also, let me just show you what is happening behind us here in terms of the demonstrations by Nehau members. These are workers belonging to the SABS. They are not on duty today. They were not on duty yesterday, and you hear them saying they are taking issue with the changes in the payment structure or the structure of employment within this particular entity, and they've been demonstrating, and they're saying that it's a waiting game when you look at it. Ayanda looking for management to come through and to address them, and this is an entity, Ayanda, that belongs to the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, and we hear most of them even here saying that if the employer will not come through, they are willing to push this all the way to the minister to ensure that they find joy there. It's back to you in studio for now, Ayanda.
Right, Katlego Legodi, thanks very much indeed. Katlego's live to us there from Pretoria as we keep watching that strike action continue. Once again, we appreciate the time.